Hello everyone, this is a comparison between the iPod Nano 7th generation and the Motoactive. We will go through a bunch of categories and just, I don't know, let you decide on your own which one you like more, and yeah, let's get to it. Alright, first up is design. You can obviously see the Motoactive is bigger. We can also see that it's thicker as well. It's about the same size as the iPod Nano with the clip. There is a clip that comes with the Motoactive you can put on, but obviously adds some weight to it, or some depth. The back of the Motoactive is this aluminum that you used to get with the old iPods. Scratches the same way, whereas the Nano is, well, same color as the front everywhere else. Other than that, they both have a plain front, and it's mostly just taken up by the touchscreen. iPod Nano has the 3 buttons on the top, volume and wake and sleep. Motoactive has start, music, volume, and power. Motoactive has the standard micro USB that most cell phones use, and the iPod Nano has its obvious connector. Both have the 3.5mm slot, and that's about it. Next up, software. So iPod Nano, I guess you all pretty much know it by now. You got your standard iPod Touch-like interface, 4 icons per screen. Yeah, that's about it. You got your settings, standard iPod settings. You use the swipe to go back, and long press the screen to go back home. Pretty simple. Not much to it. Browsing songs is quite easy. Not as intuitive as buttons, I would say, but both these devices don't really have them, so we won't get into that here. Yeah, everything's just as easy as it should be. Motoactive is largely the same almost. Basically, you have your screens you swipe through. Instead of having icons, you just have one per page. Settings, workout, music, notifications for Bluetoothing to your phone. And yeah, it's just as easy, same sort of actions. Yeah, music player looks almost identical. Very easy to use. Instead of going swiping to go back, there's a button for it right here. Kind of nice, rather than stupid. I don't know, I'm not a fan of gestures. So one advantage the Motoactive has is the ability to customize it beyond its natural state. And obviously with that you get more customization, so basically I can put apps on here from my phone and such, so you get a little bit more than the iPod Nano in this respect. Lots more to choose from. Interface wise, iPod Nano uses multi-touch to rotate the screen. Motoactive uses a more traditional method. It's just tilting the actual device to rotate it. I don't know, whichever you prefer. It's kind of nice to have the standard cell phone function and the tilting, rather than using 2 fingers, which obviously, as you can see, doesn't work all the time. But yeah, other than that, both the touchscreens perform quite well. Sound quality wise, iPod is very similar to the other Nanos. It goes very loud. The downside is you do get a very limited equalizer option. I'm not really a fan of the equalizer options that are in there. I wish I could adjust them a little bit so that they're a little bit more to my tastes. The Motoactive, I find, isn't quite as loud as the iPod Nano. So, that is kind of a downside. Although I think there's a way to hack it to make it louder, but that's not here or there. This is the included music player, very similar to the iPod Nano, and quite easy to use as well. Now playing screen, very similar. You got your track layout, and you swipe to get more options. yeah, and it also has the fitness features built in, which I obviously don't use. But yeah, you know, it works well. It's got pretty good sound quality. I do prefer the equalization on this a little bit more, just the way it's presetted to. You know, nice and even sound. No equalizer, I guess. So not in the built-in one anyway. Obviously, with the Motoactv you have the option of choosing different music players. So this is the one I normally use. A little bit nicer to look at, I find. You know, it's nice animations, fading, color background changes, and I believe there is a equalizer somewhere in here. Show options? No. Maybe not. I guess not. You can download equalizer apps for it though, so you can get an equalizer. Now let's talk about value. The Motoactv 8 gig is $149.99 and the 16 gig is $199.99. Whereas the iPod Nano 8 gig is $129.99 and the 16 gig is $149.99. What do you get for that price? Well, the iPod Nano, you get a music player, plays music and does pictures, and it's got a clock and this Nike fitness thing. Basically it's like a little pedometer, just counts your steps. That's about it. As far as connectivity, no Bluetooth, no Wi-Fi, not really much else. It's just your standard music player. For 20 bucks more, the Motoactv is a little bit bigger, chunkier, so you know, design not quite as nice. Yeah, it doesn't have, well, it does have a clip, but you know, it's not quite as good of a clip as the iPod Nano's built-in one. It just doesn't seem as solid, I guess. It does work quite well, but you know, I don't quite trust it as well. Maybe because the Motoactv is a little bit heavier. But yeah, the Motoactv does include GPS, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, so you can connect it to your Bluetooth headphones. You can Google Maps. You can plot your route and stuff like that. You can also surf the internet with the Wi-Fi. Just the amount of things you can do is just a lot more. So, you know, a little bit of a trade-off for size, I guess. But for 20 bucks more, you're kind of, it's kind of an obvious choice to me, really. I mean, just you can do so much more with it. There's just no comparison, really. You know, it's internet, videos, maps, notes, music. I mean, really you're limited to the apps that you can install. I mean, granted, out of the box, I would say, well, I'd still go with the Motoactv in my case, but you know, the Nano is all set up the way it is. There's nothing to it, whereas the Motoactv, you kind of want to root it and do all that stuff to unlock its full potential and make it, you know, the better device. So I guess it depends on what kind of user you are as well. So I'll let you guys decide on that one.